For anyone who is new to DayZ or have somehow never heard of it, this is a review for you. Yet, if you have heard of it, then still listen in because I'll be talking about some hints and tips that will help you guys out. Anyway, let's get into the review. What is DayZ? DayZ is a zombie survival game, not to be mixed up with games like Left 4 Dead or Dead Rising, as DayZ is a free roaming game in a massive world. Most maps on the game are around 20 kilometers squared. To put that into perspective, it takes a regular person around 15 minutes to run a kilometer. And there isn't just a couple of maps, there's around 20. Most of them are actually made by the community, which is helping the game become bigger and better. I say game, though it isn't. It is in fact a mod. DayZ was originally created from a game called Arma 2, which was created by Bohemia Interactive. Dean Hall, or Rocket as he's most commonly known, created the mod, and over the last year Rocket has started the development of a standalone version of the game, which you can find more about in one of my other videos. So, who are you and what part do you play in the game? You are a lone survivor who's washed up on the shore of Chernobyl. This is just an example, as Chernobyl is the default map for DayZ. You have a bandage, flashlight and a can of food and drink on some servers. It can vary depending on what server you go on. When you join a server, you'll see the name of your location in the bottom right of the screen. If you're new to the game, then this means nothing to you, unless it says Chernogorsk or Elektrozavodsk, which means that straight away you're in danger, as these two places are the hotspots of the map. Many of the people there are fresh spawns and will be eager to get out of there. This is where some simple rules of survival come into play. Number 1. Don't get hit by zombies. Although this seems obvious, it can be okay at times to get hit by a zombie. You only have to worry if you start bleeding or you break a leg, as you'll then have to stop somewhere to give yourself a bandage or morphine. Rule number 2. Be careful of other players. There are 3 different kinds of players in DayZ. Standard, Bandit and Heroes. Heroes are generally fine to go up and talk to, as they spend most of their time helping people out. You can tell what the heroes look like by their bright blue checkered shirt. Bandits. Bandits are a no-go, as they will kill a person with every chance they get. These people kill for the thrill and are not to be messed with, as they're usually heavily armed. You can tell what bandits look like by their balaclava, white shirt and tan ballistics vest. Standard players. Standard players are a maybe on confronting, as they want to live as much as you do, and if you have a bigger gun, then they'll probably try to kill you. A lot of the time you can just pass by without any trouble. You can tell what standard players look like by their civilian clothing. Outfits. Outfits are a sort of bonus and extension to bandits most of the time. Throughout the world you can find 2 outfits, a ghillie suit and camo clothing. If you find anyone with these outfits, it's a good idea to run the opposite direction. As to find these, you need to go through a lot of dangerous areas, and these people are always heavily armed. Rule number 3. Know what you're looking for. If you don't, you can find yourself without the necessary items to survive, and not knowing where you are. Here's a list of items you should aim to find first. A weapon. You can find weapons in many places, such as residential buildings, shops, hunting towers, and fire stations. You can even find them in schools sometimes. Food and drink. You can find these in most buildings, but the main place to go is the store. A bag and tools. You can find a bag and tools in the industrial buildings, residential buildings, and the store. Now that you know these rules, you're ready to venture into the wilderness to expand your arsenal. In DayZ you can find vehicles around the map, though they are quite rare, so you'll have to know the main areas that they spawn. For example, if you want a helicopter or a plane, then you would have to go to one of the 3 airports in Chernobyl. You've got northeast, northwest and southwest, and if you want a car, you'll have to check out the nearby towns. Due to the community you can find mods for the DayZ mod, which changes the gameplay, such as Origins. Origins is on a map called Taviana, which consists of 2 islands, with a few smaller islands surrounding them. The thing that makes this mod so special is the new things that they've added, such as scrap vehicles and extra vehicles. The mod also adds NPCs, which are non-player characters. You don't want to approach these people as they will kill you on sight. You can also find new weapons in this mod as well. The main aim for players on this mod is to get to Salvation City, which is an island with a massive wall around the edge to keep any remaining survivors safe. The city contains an army of private soldiers hired to protect the residents of the city. Your aim is to take out the soldiers and take the loot of the city, which can consist of base building items for your team to use. That is the other thing that the mod adds, base building. Base building is a long and tiring process of gathering supplies to build a house, though it's quite rewarding with the fact that you can store everything you have inside, without the risk of any thieves taking it. Anyway, that's all I can say about DayZ without rambling on for ages. So, get the game, explore the many maps, and survive as long as you can. Remember, your patience is the key to survival.